Hey, this is M from AlphaMaleSecrets, and in this new training video, you're going to learn about the saddest and most pathetic form of beta males currently in existence today. And those are Manginas and white knights. Basically guys who feel it's their duty to rescue women from the big bad jerks of the world. Guys who feel it's their job to save women from their own stupidity. Now this clip is taken right from my upcoming training course, The 44 Secrets to Becoming a Real Alpha Male. So if you haven't signed up for my priority waiting list, make sure you click the link above and add yourself to my email list before we run out of spaces. It takes 2 seconds. In the meantime, sit back, relax, and enjoy this exclusive free training video. Destroying Manginas and white knights. So why do Manginas feel the need to rescue women? Why? Most guys don't realize we've reached one of the scariest and most pivotal turning points in the history of male evolution. Thanks to the rise of feminism, social conditioning, and groupthink, we are also now witnessing the rise of the Mangina. Basically men who feel it is their duty to save women from their own stupidity. Manginas, also known as white knights, honestly believe that it is their duty to rescue women from all of the big bad men out there, namely jerks. Jerks that hot women date, jerks that hot women have sex with, jerks that hot women can't get enough of. Manginas are convinced that it's their job to risk their life and risk bodily harm in order to save women from their own bad decisions. The funny thing is, you'll almost never see a Mangina rescue an overweight woman or an unattractive woman. It's always a much hotter, much younger, and much thinner woman. And it's always a girl that they themselves are attracted to but can't have. It's always a girl that they can't get. It's always a girl that has friend-zoned him. And the only way that he can feel like he's a part of her life is to play the role of the savior in her life. Why? Because it makes him feel like he's her boyfriend. It makes him feel like he's an active part of her life. And hot women have no problem taking advantage of Manginas and their free services whenever she feels like using him. Hence the word use. Whether it's to use him to make her boyfriend jealous, use him to get back at her boyfriend, or just use him as a shoulder to cry on. Manginas often get used worse than tampons in an attractive woman's life. And this is why Manginas often end up dating very average-looking, overweight, and unattractive women, because hot women are not attracted to guys who cater to them, guys who try and rescue them. It's just not attractive. It's actually repulsive to hot women, and hot women loathe Manginas who do this. But Manginas are so caught up in their own heads, so caught up in their own fantasies of wanting attractive women to fit into this perfect image of an innocent little princess, that they can't separate reality from fantasy. They can't see her for who she actually is. And they think that the only reason she dates jerks is because she hasn't found her Prince Charming yet. And the most hilarious part of all of this is that the Mangina is often convinced that he is her Prince Charming, that he is going to be the white knight who rides in on his horse and finally rescues her from all of the big bad men out there. This is why we call Manginas white knights. Manginas love to concoct these delusional fantasies in their heads where all attractive women are these innocent little princesses that need to be rescued from all of the jerks of the world. And they fantasize about being the white knight who finally rides in and saves the girl. Because this is what they grew up seeing in movies. This is what they learned from Hollywood, where if you let the girl treat you like a used tampon, sooner or later, she's gonna realize what a great guy you are and magically fall in love with you. And the two of you are gonna live happily ever after. The truth is, however, a lot darker than how it plays out in the movies. Even if you got the girl, which Manginas never do, but hypothetically, let's say even if you got the girl, the two of you would not live happily ever after, not so long as there are jerks in the world. Understand, so long as there are jerks in the world, attractive women will always gravitate towards them, no matter how many Manginas and no matter how many white knights try to save them. Hot women will always gravitate towards jerks, even if it means going behind your back and cheating on you. Because if an attractive woman marries a Mangina, aka a beta male, aka a provider man, she knows that she's never going to be able to trust you to be a man, to stand up for yourself, to put her in her place whenever she steps out of line, to call her out on her crap. She knows that she needs the jerk for this, or in our case, the real alpha male. Because as I teach students, you don't actually need to be a jerk in order to get the girl. You just need to act like a man. But because real alpha males are so rare these days, women have to settle for the jerk. And if you're the Mangina who married her, don't expect her not to get all hot and heavy whenever jerks are around her, because she will. Letting her step all over you, treat you like a used tampon, take advantage of you, hyphenate her last name. Don't even get me started on that one. And never stand up for yourself. I guarantee when any jerk comes within 10 feet of her, she is going to be wishing you weren't there. Not to mention, Manginas are often the worst form of male scum that you'll ever come across while you're out working game. These guys love to pour salt all over your game, especially when they see you with an attractive woman who is getting ready to leave with you. These guys will often make it their duty to come in and ruin your set. They'll come up to her and they'll say things like, "Are you really going to leave with that guy? You just met him. What kind of girl are you?" And they'll try and shame her into not leaving with you. Or they'll try to make her feel unsafe about leaving with you. They'll say things like, "You don't even know that guy. What if he's an axe murderer?" They'll basically do anything to pour salt all over your game to make sure that you don't go home with the girl. They're angry because their nice guy routine didn't work. They're angry because their free drink routine didn't work. So like the bitter trolls that they are, they pour salt all over your game to make sure that you don't get the girl either. And they'll do whatever it takes to make you look like the bad guy so that they can make themselves look like the good guy, where they pretend to ride in on their white horse and rescue her from you. They don't call these guys white knights for nothing. But you have to understand, this is his form of game. This is his underhanded way of stealing the girl out from under you, because he doesn't have the balls to approach her himself. Manginas don't know how to game. They only know how to steal, because that's what Manginas do. They steal. They never actually approach. They just watch other guys approach first, and then they come in and steal. They wait for you to open a girl, do all of the hard work, and as soon as they see that the girl is friendly and willing to leave with you, that's when they spring into action and suddenly ride in on their white horse, attempting to rescue the girl. But like I said, it's all a con, so don't buy into it, because at the end of the day, he just wants the girl for himself. So what is the best way to handle a Mangina? The best way to handle a Mangina, if you're ever unfortunate enough to come across one, which you definitely will out there, but the best way to handle a Mangina is to never play into his game, never play into his manipulation. Instead, you want to call him out on his manipulation. You want to exploit him for the fraud that he is. For example, if you're working game on a hot girl and she's getting ready to leave with you, the first thing you should do is you should always try to leave with the girl without altercation. That's rule number one. Always take the path of least resistance. Just grab the girl by the hand and simply walk out with her and ignore the mangina. This should always be your first option. Now, if he steps in front of you and physically prevents you from leaving with the girl, then now you've got an altercation on your hands, and now you're going to have to deal with it. Not with physical force, mind you, but by simply calling him out and exploiting him, even embarrassing him for the fraud that he is. This is the only way to shut down a mangina and still leave with the girl. Because if you let him yap away, talking his nonsense, I guarantee he will make the girl feel like a slut for leaving with you, and she's not going to go. And for the record, you never want to let any confrontation escalate to violence. Not when you can defeat 99.9% of manginas and white knights simply by exposing their game plan, because that's really all you need to do to successfully handle any mangina that you come across in life, is expose their game plan and exploit them for the frauds that they are. Call them out on their scam, and I guarantee the girl will back you up every time, because the girl wants to leave with you. She wants to go home with you, but she doesn't want to leave with you under the pretense of feeling like a slut. And manginas know this. That's why they use it against you. But when you can call him out and expose him for the fraud that he is, nothing he said and nothing he did will have weight anymore. It won't have meaning anymore. And the girl won't care if she leaves with you. So you have to understand the poisonous nature of manginas and white knights. They're very deceptive. They're very slippery. They're worse than AMOGs in my opinion. AMOG stands for Alpha Male Other Guy, by the way. Because at least with AMOGs, you can see AMOGs coming a mile away. They're very transparent. They don't hide anything, so they're easier to destroy. They don't pretend to be something that they're not. They don't walk around masquerading as white knights pretending to help women. It's like when you see these public service announcements come out, these PSAs, and they've got all of these famous actors, celebrities, and politicians telling guys that, you know, we need to step it up, that we need to start putting more women on a pedestal, as if they're not on a high enough pedestal already. But they ride in on their white horse, in this case their PSAs, pretending to protect women from all of the big bad men out there, making every guy with a penis look bad while making themselves look good. Because as I've said, this is what manginas do. This is why manginas are very deceptive. This is why I have zero respect for any man who does this. It's just the lowest, scummiest, most scheming, most opportunistic, most manipulative thing that you can possibly do as a man. And there's nothing genuine and there's nothing heroic about being a mangina, because at the end of the day, you're just a scammer. You're not here to help women, you're here to help yourself. Manginas always have an ulterior motive for doing what they do. It's never genuine, it's never authentic. And in this case, with all of these public service announcements coming out lately, they're doing it for votes. They're doing it to get women to do this. And because some women are so stupid, they can't see beyond the surface. They can't see when they're being conned. And they're just like, these are good men, yes! And they buy right into it. When in reality, all of these actors, all of these celebrities, and all of these politicians who do these PSAs could care less about women. What they really care about are female votes. What they really care about is increasing their female audience for their movies, boosting their ticket sales. If you think that they actually care about helping women, you're delusional. Even jerks have more integrity than manginas, because at least with jerks, what you see is what you get. They don't try and hide behind any ulterior motives, pretending to help women. Jerks want to get laid and they let it be known. They don't try and hide it. Manginas want to get laid and all they do is hide it. All they do is put more and more layers on top of their scheme so that you can't see what they're actually doing. Again, it's the worst thing you can ever become as a man, is a mangina, a white knight. It's the worst thing. Hey, this is M. I hope you enjoyed this exclusive clip from my upcoming training course, The 44 Secrets to Becoming a Real Alpha Male. Again, if you haven't signed up for my priority waiting list, make sure you click the link above and add yourself to my email list right now. It takes 2 seconds. So do that right now, and I'll see you in the next training video.